Today's video is a massive Hawthorn update. Multiple players back from injury and multiple players being rested. Let's get into it. The first big out is Lloyd Meek. Now, reports say the Gold Coast ruckman Jared Witts is having a rest this week too. So I think Sam Mitchell just pulled the pin and said, yep, Lloyd, have a rest this week. Keep you fresh for the next two games, because their next two games are Brisbane and Collingwood, which are going to be massive, both in the MCG. So I think it's more of a tactical move, and yeah, don't love it, but I don't hate it at the same time. But yeah, Lloyd Meek is not playing against the Gold Coast Suns, and that's official. The next player is Jarman Impey. Now, Jarman Impey staying in Melbourne because his wife is having a baby, so a legitimate excuse. But yeah, he is 29, pushing 30 years old this season, so if there was a week to take off just to keep him fresh, keep him injury-free, it would be this week. So another tactical move by Sam Mitchell. Also, Jack Gunston, he's been rested this week after a 5-day turnaround coming off last week's match. Yeah, it's also tactical by Sam Mitchell. Let's keep him fresh for the next two games. Like I said, Brisbane and Collingwood are going to be massive, both at the MCG. So if we want Gunston to be fit and firing, we'd want him being fit and firing for those two games rather than the game up in Darwin versus Suns. So yeah, unfortunately, no one wants to see him not playing, but he's having a rest this week. The only new player on the injury list is Luke Bruce. He copped a knock to his back last week against Melbourne and he's set to miss 1 to 2 weeks. Apparently he was going to be rested this week anyway, but it's unfortunate to hear about Bruce's injury, but he should be fit and firing for either the Brisbane or the Collingwood game. So yeah, not a bad move, but just unfortunate to hear. Now, the really big news is our big inclusion this week with Gunston coming out is Calsher Dear. Now, we don't know if he's officially playing yet. I think he's just a test and being managed to see how it goes. But I'm assuming with Bruce out and Gunston out especially, he's going to step up at least for a minimum one half. Get him in for a half. Let him get his legs back under him, especially in these hot conditions. Just give him a good little run and a workout. And yeah, hopefully he can just play a half, get subbed out, maybe bring Huss on as a sub. And hopefully he can contribute. He's been playing the last 3 weeks in the VFL, and yeah, Calsher's off the injury list and he's back, so hopefully we see him against the Suns on Thursday night. Two more players coming back to the side, Cam McKenzie and Jack Scrimshaw. Now, both are a test currently. It's only Tuesday night recording this video, but they're most likely to play. Scrimshaw's had 2 weeks off for concussion, and Cam McKenzie's also had 2 weeks off with a fractured hand. So hopefully, yeah, they complete the fitness test and are fit and firing to go, because we need them, especially Cam McKenzie in the midfield, because we've been lacking. Also, 2 more players coming to the side is Tom Barras. Now, he just had a week off last week and should be fit, firing, ready to go. And also Ned Reeves coming in for his first game of the season. Now, I haven't seen his form in the VFL, but he's a solid player. His height just gives him such an advantage, especially against a ruckman who's coming from the VFL, from the Gold Coast Suns, considering the first ruckman, Jared Witts, isn't going to play. So it should be very interesting to see how the midfield goes and how everything's working. And he could dominate this guy that's coming in from the VFL from the Suns, but we don't know. Gold Coast do have a solid VFL team, so we just have to tune in and find out. Now, with resting Meek and Gunston, it does seem a bit strange, but what I'm thinking the thought process is for Sam Mitchell, he's honestly going to tank this game. Gold Coast are undefeated up in Darwin, and Hawthorn are obviously undermanned at the moment. No Day, no Nash. A few players coming back from injury. No Meek and no Impey obviously this week. But I think, yeah, we're just going to tank this week, bring in fresh guys for Brisbane at the MCG next week, and then Collingwood the week after, because those games are probably more important than the Gold Coast game, which we possibly aren't going to win, even with their full side, just because it's up in Darwin. Those humid conditions, they played up there last week. They're used to it. Climate-wise, they have an advantage all round. So I think, look, tanking one game isn't bad, but if it means winning the next two because our players are fit and firing, ready to go, fresh, then it is a smart move. Get some young guys in, get their experience up, and yeah, you'd rather lose one game against the Suns that you probably were going to lose anyway, and then beat Collingwood and Brisbane, which we do have a good record against. I don't think we've lost to Collingwood or Brisbane since maybe 2021. So yeah, it might not seem like a good move from Sam Mitchell, but really, it's actually quite smart when you think about it. Thanks for watching this video. I just have to make one just to update everyone about all the ins and outs, because they are pretty interesting and are pretty impactful for this week. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of May, so if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe and it will just motivate me to make more. So thank you and goodbye.